Do you want me to hit you with an introduction?
No, man, you don't. There's no introductions needed. I know who you
It's,
are. We all know who you
I'm
are.
hit. It's all right. I'm hitting the formal introduction. So, good afternoon, good morning, or good day wherever you are, listeners. Welcome to another episode of the Jurassic Park Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Jurassic, and this here, my lovely sidekick, who is on my other side, is Brad Jost.
Yeah, drinking way too hot of coffee right now, and it almost burned my mouth. So, what's up, man? How's it going?
It's good, man. Yeah, it is good. I am excited for this episode because in this episode, we are going to be breaking down trailer 2 for Jurassic World Rebirth.
Whoa, I like this new Tom. This is like, this is like full like Tom's like he's gonna get into the industry. He is like gonna be a new
this
like
is post Tom after
talk
talking
show
at a social
host.
media conference.
Yeah, he knows what's up. Don't mess with Tom.
This energy is gonna fade.
Oh, well, hopefully that's not a reflection on your thoughts on the trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth, because yeah, I think so yeah, this popped up on Tuesday, and I watched it right away, and we were wondering, when is it going to pop up? Is it going to pop up at 8 a.m. Eastern here? It actually popped up a little bit before that, and you didn't get a chance to see it until like later in the day, right? So you had to sit and wait for a while before you actually caught the trailer, right?
It was quite funny because I was sat in the conference and then I got 3 or 4 different messages that were all just like, have you seen the new trailer? And I was like, great, I'm not going to be watching this for another 6 hours. And that was pretty much my day. And the conference I was at was in London, which is a little commute from where I live. So I think I got home about 9 o'clock in the evening, shoved some pasta down my throat, and then immediately put my little vlog camera on and was like, okay, I need to record a reaction to the trailer now.
Yeah, and you did it. You got there, and it's okay. It's no rush. Nobody needs to react to this stuff as fast as we all try to do. But what'd you think? Did you think this was an upgrade from the first trailer?
Yeah. I have mixed feelings, and we'll talk about it as we go through. I think some of the stuff they show in this trailer they didn't need to show, and it would have been better to show it in the film. But on the flip side of that, I think in terms of Jurassic franchise history, this trailer is so better than any of the trailers we got for Jurassic World's trilogy, purely because it doesn't give everything away. And what they did really nicely was still keep a lot of the plot of the film a mystery. At least now. I mean, I feel like you can piece some stuff together, and we're going to talk about that as we go through, because there are a few discussion points I've kind of got in mind. But I think that on the whole, this isn't like your Fallen Kingdom or your Dominion trailers, where the kind of second and then third trailer gives everything away. I feel like this still preserves a good level of mystery, and crucially, I can confirm on the press portal, this is listed as the final trailer. So we're not going to get another trailer, which means we are still going into this with quite a bit unknown, which is really good. So I have to say straight off the bat, kudos to Universal for clearly listening to the criticism that they got for the previous films and showing a bit more restraint with the trailers this time around.
Yeah, I was trying to get some feelers as far as like what people were thinking, and I have heard a few people saying like, "Oh man, I wish they didn't reveal so much," and I'm kind of like shocked just because I feel like they really haven't revealed all that much when you think of it compared to other movies. Personally, I feel like the trailers for like Dominion and the others, I guess, probably hit me better than this one. I still feel like I'm a little like detached from what is happening here and the whole like just behind the scenes of it all more so than anything, I guess. So I still love the trailer. I thought it was really excellent, and it definitely hyped me up absolutely so much because there's a lot of really cool visuals and things. But I do feel like they've done such a good job at listening to us. Like you said, they've been listening somehow, and they've realized like, let's not give away everything that's in this movie. And that's pretty cool. You know,
Yeah.
we are getting dialogue and we are getting like some thoughts and directives as far as like where this movie is going, but it's really not like diving into like a lot of context and a lot of other stuff. So I feel like that's a huge like A plus for this movie because I don't know what your grading
Yeah.
system is in the UK, but A plus, that's good for us. You probably have like I don't even know what is it? What's your best score? Is it an A plus?
I I mean, at a higher level, it would be a distinction star.
Okay, you got a distinction star. Hopefully, this trailer gets a distinction star for the amount of stuff that I feel like it kept under wraps. Now, again, I don't know. I mean, we don't really know. Like, this could be the entire movie, and they have given it all away. But
Mm,
I feel like from day one to now, it's really not all that much that they've given away. You know, they've stayed
yeah,
consistent with the stuff they're showing. Yes, they've expanded upon like, oh, we get a different shot of the Distortus Rex. Now we're getting the Mutadons and and some other sequences and things. But
yeah,
really, it's just been the same like 3 or 4 sequences over and over again, just expanded upon. And I gotta give it a shout out, give them like a huge shout out for that because that's what I've been wanting this whole time.
yeah,
At the same time, I'm like, oh, I want to see more, but like, I feel like I'm pretty content right now to say like, I'm
yeah,
good. I'm good with what I've seen, and it should be enough. I mean, it's gonna be enough to get me in the theater. I think it should be enough to get other people in the theater. And of course, this will not be it. Like you said, it is the final trailer, but we all know that there will be TV spots and stuff like that. It will be
exactly.
there will be probably some other stuff revealed because TV spots can be a little tricky. Sometimes they reveal a little bit too much
Mm.
as you lead right up to the movie, which is always disappointing. But, you know, try to avoid your eyes from those, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really fair point. I think you kind of touched on the one thing that I was sad in a way to see in this trailer, which is the Mutadons. Purely because I feel like we had already seen the Distortus, so it would have been cool to kind of have that as a reveal in the film. But I kind of get it because it was shown at CinemaCon, so I think if you then didn't show it anywhere else after the descriptions had leaked, that's not great for the publicity. But also, B, I think people were so checked out on the concept of hybrids after Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and mutants cross into that hybrid category quite a bit. So I kind of almost feel like this was Universal's way of prepping audiences by showing it all up front and basically being like, look, we are doing this again just so you're aware and you come into it with that expectation.
Yeah. And they all look like mutants to me because the cats and different things, they all look so different, but like I feel
Mm,
like they've done a good job of grounding these mutant dinosaurs and stuff. They've the Mutadons, let me bring up a picture of them while we're talking about it, but I have some slides and things we can go through. Let's see, is this the right one? Boom, there we go. But
yeah.
yeah, if this thing looks I think it looks so good. I think it looks
Mm,
really cool. Like the pattern on there is awesome. I think the face is really cool looking, very scary
yeah.
looking. And I also just love like the way it like burrows its head into, because it can like stretch itself out
Yeah.
and be kind of elongated, but then it like kind of burrows itself in, very bird like. Look at the pose. Like
Yeah.
it's such a good design. Um and what do you think? Do you think these things fly? Do they fly
I
now?
so I well, do you want me to hit you with a theory?
Hit me
I
with
can
a
hit you with
theory.
a theory
That's
straight
that's
off the
all
bat. So
podcasting is, my guy.
okay,
It's
let
just
me just scroll through the trailer quickly to find the shot. So there's a shot at 1 minute 34 in the trailer, and don't feel like you have to pull this up, Brad. But if you are
doing it.
looking at the trailer, it is 1 minute 34, and it's a shot of either I think. Let me press play on it so I can see. It looks like it's Dr. Loomis firing a flare into the air, and there's a spotlight from a helicopter in the air that
This is
you can
not
see in the
134 on
distance.
my side. Uh what the heck? Okay, I see it. On my side, it's
Yeah.
139. Weird.
Oh wow, that's
Oh, you know
interesting.
what? I'm using the ProRes one, which actually has like the
Okay.
PG-13 text in the
Yeah, yeah,
beginning,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's probably why. But let me go over there.
But yeah, so
So
you've
yeah,
got this shot of the flare being fired off and the helicopter in the distance, and you're gonna hate me because I'm about to make you move the shot again. So keep keep that in mind, and then you have got the shot at. I
the
think we get a
helicopter shot from the other part.
yes, the helicopter crash shot. So that is 126 on this. So it'll probably be 129 on that. There you go. That works. So my theory right now, and this could very well be a helicopter from the Distortus Rex breakout. Okay, so this could be something that crashed during that incident where that animal gets out of containment. It could be a team that's been to the. Oh, scroll up a bit. Okay, that's interesting. So it's a US military helicopter because there's a
Hmm.
star on the door. So
Yeah,
that's quite interesting. I mean that changes the context a little bit because it could have landed here at any point. It could be quite an old helicopter. But equally I was wondering if maybe this helicopter gets taken out by the Mutadons.
that would be cool, dude. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but yeah, the two
However,
helicopters. Go
I,
ahead.
I was going to say, looking at it and looking at the frame afterwards, the corpse with the handgun is quite deteriorated. So I think actually this is older.
Yeah.
But what I wonder if maybe this is foreshadowing. So if this let's so we basically we're assuming the Distortus breaks out at some point. As far as we see in the trailer, the scientists are able to contain it, but one of them dies in the process because they don't get out in time. Which, side note, very Godzilla 2014 opening.
Oh
But
yeah.
what could theoretically happen there is the Distortus still manages to escape. In the chaos, that causes the other animals to escape. So we see that the Mutadon is in the containment pod that's in the lab next to the Distortus. If that escapes and damages that, could potentially lead to them coming out of containment. And then I wonder if they are what has taken down this helicopter during that incident. And that could then potentially be foreshadowing for the fact that when they try to escape during the nighttime and the helicopter comes in, the helicopter gets taken out by the Mutadons. Because what I did notice is the Mutadons are outside the gas station during the night sequence as well. So they're in the
Mhm.
same proximity to where the helicopter is coming in, and we know that these are creatures that can presumably fly.
Okay. Yeah. So but you still think that these are two different helicopters, right?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's at first glance, I was like, oh, look, obviously, like this goes wrong and the helicopter
Yeah.
crashes. But then when you look at the hand and you're like, oh yeah, that's been decayed. You might have some better insight that that weapon at least looks current enough to me. I would
It,
assume.
I think
Um,
it looks like a Glock, and if it is a Glock or it's very similar to a Glock, then that I mean, if I do a quick Google, the G17 first made. So the Glock, in its original form, has been around since 1982. So
okay, but
that
that's yeah,
you know,
and this does look like I don't know, something about this helicopter shot does look like it is kind of old-ish, but not like
yeah.
I'm not talking about like Vietnam, like it's not like this, the scenes of like Kong Skull Island or anything like that. I'm
Well,
thinking, what do you got? What do you got? You look up some helicopter information for me?
I mean, it's from a filming pick, so it's up to you as to
Oh,
whether you
okay.
want to cover it or not.
No, I guess not. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We don't have to cover it.
Yeah, I don't know. It just at least it doesn't look super old to me, but I don't know. I
But
mean,
the
I've been
American,
thinking I've been
you
thinking at
have
least that
got
it's like
me.
2010 era, you know? That's kind of
Yeah,
my thought process at least.
you have got me thinking though. Is how long ago was the American Air Force using that star on the helicopters?
Mhm.
Because they don't do it anymore, do they?
I don't know, and
Um,
it looks so like just GI Joe to me. Like it doesn't actually like I don't know, did they ever use something actually like that or is that just
they
like,
did.
you know,
Um, I think that the studio felt like I was being very, very autistic about helicopters, and so it kicked me out.
Oh god. Well, that's what podcasting is. It's just being slightly autistic when it comes to wanting to know every detail of everything. Yeah.
I mean, wait, are we still recording? Can I
It
just
is.
continue? Okay.
Hey,
Right.
just give it a break so I can edit it in, but go ahead.
So I mean, when you look at it, actually, so it's interesting that you reference Kong Skull Island because actually that design is most prevalent during the 80s and 90s. So I almost wonder if maybe this is part of the lore of the original InGen facility. Because what I get the
Hmm.
sense of here with this laboratory is that this was, and we've heard it, it feels like this was a facility that was active during the 90s, something went wrong, and then InGen came back in the early 2000s, and that's when they started developing the Distortus.
Yeah, I really hope we get any of that kind of context or information. That's what I'm afraid of, is that we're
I
not
don't
gonna
think we
touch
will.
on. Yeah, I'm afraid we're not gonna touch on any of that stuff because any discussion I have about this movie leads me down that path of like, okay, well, obviously we've got the story about the 90s, right? Or the 80s and
Mm,
90s whenever this island was active, before I don't know, what before something, before sort of Nublar, I don't know, somewhere
yeah,
in that time frame. And it's active and then it's not active anymore for a long time.
yeah,
And then it's reactivated again in the 2010s, 2005, something like that, around that era. And 2010 seems to be this timeline 17 years earlier than the majority of this film that we get this
hmm,
lab breakout sequence. So there's so many different eras, and then of course, obviously, we have to jump to 2027 or whatever it is that this movie is set,
yeah,
and say like, okay, what is this era? So there's like three different eras that we really need to touch on and wonder about, and there's so much to speculate on. And I mean, we're still literally speculating about Sorna and like what happened there and what
yeah,
went wrong there, and like the story is only really covered in Nublar. That's the only story we get, and we don't really know the context after that first movie. Like there's no
so,
context
yeah,
for that. So for the most part, I think we're just going to be sitting here speculating and creating our own headcanon. But
mm,
if something went down crazy in the 90s, that's a cool idea, and I think
yeah,
personally I would love it if it was like centered around what the novel kind of focused on with creating their initial dinosaurs, which was like these dinosaurs that were too fast, too realistic,
yeah,
and they had to slow them down. They had to dumb them down a little bit, and that's why we ended up with what we got in Jurassic Park. So I hope that's
yeah.
part of the cause of this downfall of this place. I hope we get to see that to
That
some
would be
extent. We've
cool.
got, what did they say? 2 dozen species, I think.
Yes,
Is that what it
yeah.
2
So
dozen?
me and my reaction saying that means 24.
Yeah, so we have a lot of species to look into, and I
Yeah.
didn't count them all. I haven't, like, tried that really. I actually I did try it the other night on a live stream, and I was like, "Okay, T-Rex, and then I was like, "Oh, what have I done yet? I forgot what I've already said." So I was like, "I can't do this. I literally can't do this." But like I'm curious of all these eras, and I hope we get something like that context from the book. And I think that would be really cool to have like these slowed down dinosaur, or sped up
Yeah,
dinosaurs. And it makes me think of the Distortus Rex toy, which is out right now,
yeah,
kind of, I guess. But like if you think of the motion on that thing, isn't it kind of like way too fast, way too crazy of like
mhm. It
shocking
almost
back and
seems too
forth
fast for its
movement?
body. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I,
that's what I want. I want that out of that creature, and dude, like, this whole movie needs, like, it needs Dr. Henry Wu to be like our storyteller.
Yeah.
Like it really needs him
So yeah.
to
I
like if Scarlet like goes and sits down with him and he just tells the story of what happened. You're the only one left that knows anything about this island. Like, let's get
yeah.
them some context before they go. Dude, that would be so flawless, but I don't know that they're going to do that.
I don't think they will. So I have a really big concern with this film, and it's why, and like I'm excited for it, but I'm excited for it because I know that Gareth Edwards will realize the set pieces well. And from what we've seen so far, he knows how to shoot dinosaurs. He knows how to shoot large scale cinema and make it look really good. So, from a spectacle standpoint, right, of seeing dinosaurs in cool scenarios interacting with humans, I know that this film is absolutely going to nail it. I think if you're a die-hard Jurassic fan, you are going to be bitterly disappointed though. And the reason why I say that is because every discussion that I've had with people, it really sounds as if this film has taken a very soft approach to the lore. So there's a lot of talk out there that this film was originally thought of as a soft reboot. And for whatever reason, Universal were concerned about rebooting, so they then made it more tie into things. But the issue is it was never intended to tie into things, so a lot of those connections are going to feel strenuous at best, and they're probably going to undo a lot of the lore that we already understand, which is why there's already question marks around this. Because, I mean, just take that helicopter, for example. I hate to be the person to do this, but if that's a government helicopter, and let's say that crashed during the 90s, why the hell would they have then let Sauna continue to be an island that was restricted, yes, by 97, but they weren't really involved in it? Why would they have let InGen continue as a company? Why would they have not stopped Jurassic World? It just becomes more problematic, I think. And I think that's a big issue that has been birthed into this franchise the longer it's gone on, which is Universal feel very reluctant to let go of the legacy of the franchise. So they're constantly trying to find a way to tie it back towards Jurassic Park. But it gets to the point where you're trying to tell new stories, and I don't think you need to tie it to the original. You need to just accept that that original was that story. We're now in a different place now. Like, can you imagine if the intro to this story was something along the lines of, oh, during the 90s, InGen weren't the only people creating dinosaurs? Immediately, you've opened a new story thread. You've kept your connection because you can do the novel thing of saying this is somebody who has stolen genetic samples and has then used them to build their own dinosaurs. But actually, you're not tethering yourself to the past. So I think that is genuinely a big issue that this franchise is going to face the longer it goes on, is this idea of constantly having to be tethered in Jurassic Park whilst moving it forward for the future. Jurassic Park was phenomenal. If you want to tell more stories with that era of InGen, then do it, but do it within the confines of Isla Nublar and the established world from that time. Don't constantly stretch the plausibility of that to continue to link back to it in ways that don't feel natural.
Yeah, dude, very well said. I feel like sometimes it's like a fear to commit to stuff, to the
Yeah,
canon and to the lore. And if that's the case, if we don't get these tie-ins, yeah, I would be severely disappointed, I think. But like you said, I do trust Gareth, and I trust like the script's going to be cool. I trust the cast, and everything's going to look awesome and be awesome. And I'm going to have a great time. But once we
yeah.
come back here to the studio and start talking about stuff and start lingering on it for a while, I hope I'm not going to be disappointed that these threads are left untouched and unconnected. But what are you going to do? It's interesting. It kind of makes me think about like the conversations surrounding Andor. Did you get a chance to watch Andor at all?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Not going to spoil anything or really talk about it too much. I just wanted to mention like the creator, Tony Gilroy, obviously very connected with Gareth Edwards because of Rogue One.
Yeah.
And there's drama there as far as who did what and what happened there. But like the fact is like Gareth Edwards was a fan, right? He was a fan, and he is a fan of Jurassic too, right? Obviously. But like Tony Gilroy, not a fan, like doesn't care at all about the lore and the history and all that stuff. So when he goes to make Andor, he's talking about it a lot in interviews, and it's kind of funny if you read any of his interviews. Just it shows how much he really doesn't even care about the insight into canon and stuff like that. He's just like, I just made a cool story, like that's, and he made an incredible story. But I do find it funny because like he says this constantly. He's like, oh, we didn't want to like refer to other stuff from the past movies and things, and we didn't want to like tie it to other canon stuff, and there's not going to be cameos and all this crazy stuff. I mean, but the thing is, that show literally is all cameos and all ties.
Yeah.
There's things in that show that he doesn't even know exist as far as like canonical ties that like people were in charge of putting in the backgrounds of sets and, characters that he probably doesn't even know are tied to like the grander Star Wars. Yeah, like there's this hilarious interview which I read on the Forcecast of him like talking all about this dog that he added into the show. He's like, the dog, we had to do so much research about the dog. And he's talking about a cat. It's not even a dog. It's a cat, and it's a Star Wars like a Tukey cat, I think. It's not a Loth cat or Loth cat. It was a different kind of cat. But like, it's just funny that he's so disconnected from that story. So that's I'm gonna hope that is kind of the context that you're hearing things, or that the general fandom is hearing things.
Yeah.
That it's not gonna be too super connected, blah blah blah, whatever. It's not gonna be this or that, and then hopefully it is. I'm hoping it is, just based off of Andor.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the thing is like if like this is the. I feel like this is an issue in storytelling across the cinema industry at the moment, which is
sure.
everybody wants the impact that phases 1 to 3 of the MCU had, but nobody wants to put in the work. And the truth of that is that worked so well because every story was connected. And it felt like there was that sense of continuity throughout them that ultimately built to Infinity War and Endgame. And I think a lot of these tentpole franchises have seen the success that Marvel had there. Granted, they've messed it up subsequently to some capacity and are now working on course correcting that. But I think a lot of people have seen the success that they've had and have thought, oh, we can do that. But what they're not thinking about is all of the work that went in to get to Endgame and Infinity War. Like, can you imagine if we had just had Infinity War and Endgame? It wouldn't have had anywhere near the impact that those films had because you spent time getting to know all of those characters. yeah. That's exactly it. That is literally it to a T. So I think that's the issue. Is I think the cinema industry right now is like, oh my god, we have got to be the next Marvel, but none of them understand how Marvel approached that.
Yeah. But let's so we've got some negatives, and it's still lingering. I feel like this lingers on me a lot just because I'm just worried about that kind of stuff, the canonical stuff, and hopefully tying. But like, let's think. Like in this trailer, there are, we do have bits of InGen shout outs. We can see it in the lab sequence. It's all over the walls and stuff. Let's go to the shot of that real quick because, oops, that's the wrong one. Let's go to this one. There we go. So this lab. This is what we're supposedly assuming is like the 2010 era. We've got the InGen logo up there. We've got, two InGen logos, I guess, two different ones. So we're tying it to that. There's obviously like conversation in the trailer about like the research facility for the original park. Yeah. Is there anything else that ties us to the original movies at all?
I don't think so. Apart from some of the signage, like the 10,000 watts signage being the same later in the trailer. But I do just want to make a very fun observation here, which is it's very comical to me in some ways that the lab uses the same design language as Biosyn, because I literally am thinking back to the interview I did with Kev Jenkins when he said they used the yellow for the color of the amber in the Biosyn lab, and you can see that so much more here. I find it quite interesting. Whereas I think with Dominion, um, at least they grounded the laboratory we see in the 90s era Jurassic Park. This, I think it would have been interesting to see something that maybe looked a little bit more like the laboratory that we were working in Jurassic World.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, let me see if I can bring up like a Jurassic World era lab. Let's see.
Mm.
Let's take a look, see what we can find here real quick. Jurassic World era lab. Let's see. Very
I think they
different, like,
tend to use the color blue a
well,
lot more.
that's Camp Cretaceous, but that kind of looks similar. The Camp
Yeah,
Cretaceous version of a genetic lab, that looks pretty similar. Yeah, there's obviously a lot of blues and stuff. This is I'm assuming, like,
that's the
I always wonder
secret
why it
lab.
was so dark.
Yeah.
Why is it so dark?
Yeah.
Is that does it need to be dark? This is a live tour or something. This is not the movie, right? Oh, no, this is
That's
the
the
movie.
exhibition. Oh no, yeah,
No,
that is the movie.
there's like kids on tour and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so this is obviously not the same kind of facility. This is like a lock. Like, this is like something that's, you're keeping something in, but it just feels so different
Yeah.
from any like Jurassic World era stuff. So
I think
this tiny picture.
it says a lot about
What
how
are these
important
pictures?
design language is.
There's like so many pictures. They're all like super blurry and stuff. But like, where are these pictures? Is this
They're all
from
from
like
the
the old
original
Jurassic
Isla
World?
Nublar website. Yeah.
Yeah, the old website. Yeah, there's so many pictures. I actually like never really realized how many pictures are just lingering around of the Jurassic World lab. But yeah, you can tell it at least looks pretty different. But hey, the Camp Cretaceous kind of got it right. So if that's the if that's what we're gonna talk about, but yeah, this is some kind of interesting facility because this
Yeah.
it has some sort of containment unit, right? That's what's going on here. Do you think there's a second wall? It looks like there's a second wall back there. Oh, sorry, I'm on
I
the wrong
assume
image.
so.
But you assume so. Yeah, back there, it looks like, dude, I almost pinched and grabbed my screen to like zoom in on my computer monitor. That's not how computers work for me.
I
But
mean, I could see it being like an airlock.
yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Either way, like, what kind of containment unit is this? So we know that they're in this thing, and you can see on. Oops, let's go a little bit forward here.
I'm
There are two or three employees right there on the screen. Ooh, you can see my mouse. And
I'm gonna regret saying this because I'll probably get some hate for this in the comments. But the more I see of this, the more I don't like it. Like, I love the concept of a modern lab, but this, like, I mean, even the screens. I'm sorry, but they look like something from Star Trek. Like,
yeah, it's like
it feels very futuristic, and
it's retro
yeah, it's
futuristic though. It's like Alien. It's like any of that stuff.
yes,
Like old
but
old
the issue,
technology, but like fancy sci-fi looking, right?
yeah. And the issue I have with that is yet where if we are to take the law as it is, or if we are to take the timeline as it is, we're meant to believe that this facility is before the facilities in Jurassic World.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So even what we did just compare is still 5 years later.
Yeah,
so those are the newer facilities. This is an older facility, but built in that 2005, 2010 era. Somewhere around
yeah.
there. But yeah, I don't know.
I
I don't
think
know, but
the more I see, the more I feel like, being brutal. I feel like this film is going to need us to suspend our disbelief a little bit.
sorry, I'm having too much
Are
fun
you
looking
trying
at
to
this
make
guy
a
on the screen.
trying to make a new Dodgson meme?
So I was looking at the gunshots and I'm like, oh, this guy's doing something funny over here. But yeah, there's gunshots. So they go into whatever this lab, this like
Yeah,
containment unit is. So I imagine there's got to be multiple sets, and I would assume that this is some like I don't know. It's really hard to talk about like canonical stuff because if they're not talking with each other, then I don't
Mm.
know how much of this is going to correlate. But like the stuff that we see in Camp Cretaceous with the Scorpius, like that's in like
Mhm.
a cryo chamber kind of thing. So in my mind, maybe there is like a cryo chamber, like 2 layers back into this containment unit that the thing breaks out of somehow. You know, a compy eats a wire or something, right? And that's the coolant goes offline and the thing breaks out, and they think they're safe, but how safe do they think they are? Because they are bringing weapons, like automatic weapons,
Yeah.
into this lab.
Well, and
Um,
if you pause it, I'm not going to make you pause it, but on that screen, the people who are wearing hazmat suits aren't just wearing hazmat suits. You can see they've got black tactical vests on as well on the screen. So
on
clearly
here?
they're geared up. Yeah, look, yeah,
Yeah,
there you
yeah,
go. You've
yeah.
paused it perfectly. So if you get the ProRes version and zoom in on that, so don't do it now, but zoom in whenever you want to, or you could try and do it now. You can see
How do
that
I
they've
zoom in?
clearly got tactical vests on. I took a screenshot of it and then zoomed it
Oh,
in
okay. I was
post.
gonna say, I was like, I can't
Yeah,
figure out how to zoom in on this. That's why I tried to
but they've
pinch and zoom. That's what I do on the iPad over here.
they've got additional equipment, so it's clear that they're some kind of security personnel.
It looks like
But
there's 3 people
again,
in there. That's what
I
I'm,
hate.
yeah.
I don't know why I'm on such a downer today because I was genuinely quite excited for this, but that then makes me sit here and go, why are they using lethal weapons instead of the ACU equipment?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at least trank the thing. Like, what's going on? Like, I
Yeah,
don't really know what's happening there. And I don't really know what any of this equipment this guy is using here. This is pretty interesting stuff. But we see the next shot. We do see like 2 people running out of. Yeah, there is a second lock. You can see like the second lock back
yeah,
there open. So the red light's pouring in. You've got the D-Rex on there, version
23.
2.3.1.
Yeah,
No, I think it's not.
1-1.
I think it's 2.3. Um,
Oh.
but if it's version 23, dude, that's sick. Like, what are they doing? They're just like killing off so many of these things. Sorry, I'm choking. But like, either way, we've got multiple versions of this thing in play. It's hard to see if there's like a better screen grab of like, but I think there is a period there. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I can see it. There is one there.
but they easily get out of this thing, so they just like push this open, and
Oh,
then
also, can we appreciate that? I mean, this lends credence to the idea that this isn't an accident. This is an experiment that leads towards hybrids and the Indominus, which
yeah,
adds more to your theory about Wu. Because surely this is their attempt to make a hybrid. Because if it was a mutation that you didn't mean to happen, why the hell would you make a second version of it?
yeah. And I think the Scorpius was actually before this still. Right? I think it was
Oh
like
my gosh.
2009 or something like that. Wasn't it like way earlier?
It's yeah.
I don't know. So would they have like I think it was 2009. I don't know where that why that's like sticking into my mind. But
Let me Google it. Yeah, no, you're right. 2009 on
so
Isla
so
Nublar
let's
as part of
s- y- th-
E750.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like they started on Nublar, right, with the
Yeah,
E750. And then they're like, well, no. Let's go to this. We can't do this here. Let's freeze this one and
yeah.
keep it here. And we
Which,
at
to
least
be
know we
fair,
can do
canonically, that
something.
could make sense. Yeah. Yeah, because they're like, do
Yeah.
you know what? We can't risk having this outbreak on Nublar. Let's reactivate this old facility. But then that's the point at which you have the explanation, and that's what I don't think we're going to get. And I wonder if we're ever going to get that. That's kind of my question mark.
Yeah.
Like, are we gonna? Is there potentially another show in the future that explains that? Is there some form of extended media that explains it, or is it
Is
just
there
left up
some
in the
guy in
air?
the community that could like write a story and put it out for the world to hear? There's all these questions we have.
I think
Um,
his name is Gerard Boast.
No, not him. He's not gonna do it. But we see these two people. So two people get out here, right? And then this third person. So there were the three people in there. Here you
Yeah.
can see that there is that containment unit over there on the side that has a Mutadon in
Yes.
it.
So there's
And
an
would you?
interesting observation about that, because when the opening shots in the lab, I was, again, the advantage of the ProRes for anyone who doesn't know,
Yeah.
if
And
you
you can
have
see the claw.
content creation credentials, if you have content creation credentials, you can sign up to platforms that give you access to the ProRes materials that are shared by Universal, and that's basically the raw file, so it preserves all of the detail. And if you zoom in on the sign around that, you can see that it doesn't say Mutadon, it says Raptor. So the sign is changing between Mutadon
It's
and Raptor.
yeah. It's like a rotating like
It's a
Chiron kind of
rolling
thing. It's
sign.
like
So I'm really
yeah.
curious as to why is it changing between them? Is that just evidencing what it used to be before it became a Mutadon?
Well, I don't know. Does it say? I forget. Does it actually fully say Mutadon, or does it say
It
like?
does later in the trailer when
Yeah,
it
that's what
looks
I
at
was
it
thinking.
close up. Yeah,
I thought so. Um, yeah, and that's where it shows it like where in the current timeline. I think it says that.
yeah,
So, um, yeah, weird. Why would it say that both? Because let's all right. Let's take a tangent and talk about that for a second because we also do have screenshots of that, and I brought this up on the live stream the other day, but yeah, this is the original
yeah,
shot. Very, very different than what we got. So when we first got the trailer, and this is new. This is like 2010 era.
yeah,
It looks like at least. It looks brand new and shiny. So
yeah,
this the everything about the vibe of this shot doesn't fully match what we saw. So like this feels like it's under different context. So I don't really know what the context of this shot is or if this shot
yeah.
even makes it in. But what we at least see, I think, in the other shot though, where is that one? That one's up here. I don't know. That's dark. Oh, no. This is later on, obviously. This
Yeah,
is
and
in
you
like the
can see
current
it says
timeline.
Muta D at the
Yeah, that's
bottom
right.
there 'cause it's still rolling through, but it
Hmm.
is a Mutadon instead. But interestingly, it almost looks like there's ice speckles on the Mutadon. So I almost wonder if we might see it mutate in real time. Like if they had accidentally
Hmm.
made a two-headed raptor and they're like, well, let's try and mutate. I actually reckon that's it. I reckon they accidentally make a two-headed raptor and they go, well, can we mutate this thing further?
Hmm. So you think
Oh,
you
and
think just because they
maybe
they messed up the first time that they try to continue to mess it up more?
I wonder if that's how the Mutadons end up being born because they just kind of break into two. You could say,
Yeah, that would
Brad, they
be that'd be kind of
bigenerate.
disgusting. Yeah, yeah. I like that idea. Let's go. Um but we've got this shot. I just think like this raptor, it's breaking my heart, dude, that we don't necessarily get to see this one. If
Yeah.
that's the case, like we
I
we
wanted a
very
Mattel
very
figure of a
mel
two-headed raptor.
I know we very well may see like what you just described is like a mutation. Like we might actually see
Yeah.
this, but I can't imagine that in my head right now of seeing this shot and then seeing like boom, boom, wings pop out and then another arm and then another like
Yeah.
that just feels like a little too silly. Like I don't know how that would work, but
Yeah.
I don't
I'll
know.
pretend you
I
didn't just call my idea silly, Brad, but continue.
No, because I had that idea as well. I talked about it the other night on the live stream, like the talk of the like you actually see the physical mutation of it.
It's all right, Brad.
Um,
You've said it now. It's fine.
whatever. But like I actually could see this go forward. Like so, this is maybe one of the original shots that we see, and
Mm,
then in 20, however in 17 years time is maybe the change happened in that 17 years time. So
mm.
it's no longer this two-headed raptor. It's now the Mutadon. It grew it and it changed in the tube. But I don't know how that explains the ones running around necessarily. And they don't look anything like this. Like this head
No.
looks nothing like what we see in the other one. So that's the difference there for me is the fact that the head this is clearly like the Mutadon head here. Like this is very.
I mean, it could easily be a different containment module. That's the thing we're not saying.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think this is still the
they
same
could use
position.
the same design in different places. Like for all we know, there's a row of several of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it absolutely could be. And I do think that these are the same. If you like, sorry, I'm got like a ton of images, but these do look like the same spots. Like you got a row of lights here.
No, you
You've
are
got
right.
like concrete.
Yeah.
So the row of lights there, some work, some don't. So I feel like it is the same location. Is that location the same that we see like in the beginning of the trailer? It's to be seen. Yeah, I think it could be.
There is a row of lights in front of it. Yeah.
There is a row of lights right there. And there is like handrails and stuff, which I kind of think you might see in one of the images. Yeah, you do see handrails in like this image. I'm flipping back and forth, but yeah. So
so that's this image, I don't know. That's definitely that lab. Mm-hmm. Do you know what? I'm gonna put a bet on this. Actually, I think that's the two-headed raptor in this sequence because that's all lit up nicely and everything. I then think the Mutadon might be in a different one, but we'll see.
It's hard to say though because
that is also like there's a wing. But that's the container that says Raptor.
But it also says Mutadon currently on my screen.
True.
But I do think like if you look like right above my head, there is like a wing.
Between them as they go. Yeah. Like maybe it's like a metal arm that comes up with the Raptor, drops down, and then when it says Mutadon, the Mutadon appears instead.
Or maybe
one
it's
of those transforming kids' toys.
Maybe it's like the Rock's goatee in like the Fast 5 movie where like it's there and then it's not there in one scene and we get Raptor, but then we get Mutadon in one scene. It just flip-flops back and forth.
Honestly, it can't be worse than the most recent episode of Doctor Who. I won't tell you which one, Brad, but there's a new episode where there's a unit soldier and literally their gun in one clip has got a magazine in it. The next clip, the magazine's missing from the gun. Then the next clip, the magazine's back in. And the next clip, the magazine's out. It's the worst piece of continuity I've ever seen.
Jeez. It says there, InGen Laboratories, I think, or something like that. What else can we see? We've only looked at literally 30 seconds of this trailer, so we got to move it along a little bit. Yeah, but I was heartbroken by this actor here. Really does a fantastic job of like, screaming like the terror of this moment. Like,
I recognize him, but I don't know what from.
Yeah, I don't know. But man, in 2010,
I did think it was Gareth at first.
I mean, he's in Rogue One. He's in a lot of the movies that he does. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's in here somewhere. He probably gets eaten or something like that at some point. He could be in this lab.
Yeah,
he's part of the crew that accepts the Death Star plans. So
true, very true.
Dude, look at that! Look at that mouth. Like, dude, that's so cool. Yeah. Oh my god, looks like Godzilla.
So ominous, isn't it? So I think we then get some shots on the boat, which I don't think we necessarily need to talk
there's
about.
Not much to cover here.
Name. We then do get a shot of them going through that. Yeah, that perfect. And what I find really interesting with this is the fact that there is all of the old mining equipment there, but also the stuff in the backdrop, so the pipes, etc. They're the exact same pipes that are used in the model for the geothermal power plant in Jurassic World Evolution. And I think that was based off of the Lost World. So what this makes me think of is the fact that we might be seeing geothermal power on this island potentially.
That'd be cool. What do you think the mining's about? Is it amber related? Because they're in the Dominican in Jurassic Park.
I wonder if it's the first place where they tried it, or do you know what would be quite interesting actually? If this was a different extraction method they tried that didn't work. So maybe this was them, because that's massive mining equipment. Do you know what this could be actually? I think there is some science based on the idea of being able to get DNA out of bones, and the whole idea is you would need an absolute ton of fossil material to be able to get DNA out. So maybe this was their original plan before they found a more cost-effective way to do it.
Yeah, it could be. I have no idea. I have no idea what the
So I
mining equipment could
just
be.
want to point out to you, Brad.
There's two.
There's two. Yeah.
There's two containers. Yeah, I know. But I also want to point out that there are no dinosaurs in these ones. So where's the one with
No.
the dinosaur in it? Because the one with the
Yeah.
dinosaur in it was the one up here in the front.
Yeah.
And you can tell
Or
like,
is this
they've
the
disintegrated or
other
something.
side of the airlock?
Yeah, I don't know. They've like disintegrated. You can see like material at the bottom. It's like kind of disgusting looking. But yeah, there's the airlock thing that we saw, you know, in the
Yeah.
past, and I don't know. Yeah, place is
So
all messed up still,
yeah.
and there's that. So it's like I don't know, man, where this is supposed to be located. I assumed it was right next to it, but maybe not. But they've got the power working again to some extent.
Yeah.
So let's move on
So
to the T-Rex here. What do you think?
yes.
What's your thoughts on the
So
T-Rex scene?
I'll be really honest. The first thing I noticed was the eye, and I think the
Hmm.
eye on the CGI is a little bit funny. It just looks a bit weird to me for some reason. But beyond that, the Rex looks fantastic, and like the movement of it throughout this sequence as we go through, with it going down into the water and then swimming through, is just you have far too much fun. It's just
I know. Sorry.
absolutely incredible. Like the shot that sticks out to me the most is the shot where Ruben has just come through the water and the Rex is stood like behind him on the rocks roaring at him. I just think that looks absolutely incredible. And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
really excited that it looks like we're getting a good beefy chunk of the raft sequence. Obviously, this isn't the raft sequence from the novel exactly because there's different context here, but it takes inspiration from it in the best possible way, and I think it's going to be quite cool.
Yeah, I think this looks awesome. It looks very cool.
It's
Hopefully,
just
we
so
haven't
good.
seen like 90% of it already. Hopefully, there's more.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This could be the
We've
one thing
actually
that we
seen
end
the
up
full
seeing.
raft sequence now.
Yeah, this could be the thing we end up seeing the entirety of.
Yeah,
But yeah, I look forward to it. It looks very cool. Um, to me, like I don't know. I know a lot of people are talking about the Rex as if like, oh my god, it looks so much better than the Jurassic World era. To
I'm
me,
going
like
to say
it
something really controversial. It just looks
okay.
like the Jurassic World Rex to me.
Same, dude. Thank you
Is
for
that
saying
yeah?
that. It looks exactly the same to me. Like everybody knows that I'm not like a super dinosaur aficionado. Like I love dinosaurs and I love all these different kinds and I love what I see mostly in the movies. Like in these movies, I necessarily can't be bothered too much to watch like these prehistoric planets and things like that walking with dinosaurs. I know you're big on those kinds of things, um but for me, what I see in the movies is like what they are. And this looks very
Yeah,
much like the one we've gotten before. And down to like the coloring, the striping a little bit, if you look
yeah,
at that new Rex, it looks very much like this. And this shot is
yeah.
surely showing it's got like a thicker body, I guess, but like it it very much looks similar to what we've seen in the other Rexes.
I think
This
this
kind of
is
hybrid
ish.
between like the
Yeah,
bull and Rexy, I guess, in a way.
exactly. I am gonna be honest. I think this just shows that people see what they want to see, and that a lot of the time criticism should be taken with a grain of salt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think criticism nowadays is more like it's absolute, like it's the unwavering fact that this dinosaur looks better than the others. And I'm
Yeah,
like, dude, go back and look. Like, I know Jurassic World didn't always have some of the best moments, but like the end of that movie, like it looks fantastic. Not the moment where it's looking down like at Blue or whatever. That's a terrible looking moment. Fallen Kingdom has some bad ones, but there's also great moments in there. And I think Dominion
yeah.
completely sells like what we're seeing here. This Dominion's CG is phenomenal. Like Don't
Yeah, it
understand.
looks
If
really
there is
cool.
hate to it, I don't understand that at all because it's phenomenal. But this also looks phenomenal, and I just to me, I wish the Rex looked a little different, a little bit different than what we've already seen.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
Yeah, and I was saying on previous thoughts and stuff that it does give me like Camp Cretaceous vibes right here. Like there's something about this
Yes.
shot in particular that looks like
Yeah.
animated. Maybe it is that eye, but yeah.
So there is a really interesting point here, which is that at some point in this film, the family and the family and our rescue team are split up, and I think this confirms that it's not necessarily going to be when we expect, because you see at this point there is the four kids. No, not the four kids, the three kids and Reuben, the father, and they're all together in the raft, right? And the way this is cut, the next shot is then our rescue team on the island once they've already been stranded on the island. So we know from a previous photo that was released, the behind the scenes clip, that the boat gets stranded on the rocks because you could see the back of the boat on these rocks in that behind the scenes footage. So
Hmm.
at this point, the boat has been I can't remember what the term is for it. It's run aground. Okay. And they cut it so it sounds like they're hearing the Rex chasing the family in this sequence. But everything we've seen suggests that the family are on the boat with them when it gets attacked and then runs aground. So either these are two different points in the film and it's been cut to look like it's the same moment, or this might indicate to us that at some point when the boat is about to run aground, the rescue team send Reuben and the kids off of the boat in a raft to try and get to safety, and then they encounter the Rex. I just think there's something, it could be explained that way, like I've just outlined it, or there's something else going on with the timeline here, at which point it might be that the characters get separated for more of the story than we realise. I don't quite
Yeah.
know what the timeline is, but I just thought it was an interesting observation that it definitely has split the two groups at this point, and it does appear to be a bit of a misdirect.
Yeah, I have no idea like what the timeline's going to be because yeah, I'm confused because I would have thought that the big boat sequence happens before this, but now
Mm,
they're separated. In my mind, when I'm writing it, I would say like I would put one of the crew members with them or something, and
exactly.
it's maybe one of the kids with the other crew, like split people up a little
But
bit.
to
But
be
I don't
fair,
know.
you say that. For all we know, one of the crew members was with them because if you remember the shot of when it's run aground
Hmm.
and they're sprinting
Yeah.
towards the water, there is all of the blood in the water.
Yeah, so somebody could get chomped. But yeah, that would be a good point. In my mind, what I think happens here is like we've seen like a shot of like the Rex like sleeping,
Yeah,
next to that tree. I imagine like they're sneaking carefully, and they
yeah,
have to open this boat. The boat pops open. They try to get away. The Rex slowly wakes up and chases them out. Right.
yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna assume there. But yeah, this sequence looks really cool. I can't wait to see what the heck happens there. But what else we got? A lot of similar stuff. This shot here, how blown away were you
Love
when you
this
saw the
shot. Yeah, dude,
Titanosaurs?
dude, it's so sick. But also, how big is this island?
I know, dude. I know, because that you know that like that meme that floats around of like these like little, I don't know what they are, like lemurs or something that have like their
Yeah,
tails up. That's what this is looking like to me because like they look
yeah,
so tiny because of the way the shot is that we're like flying above them. But we know how big they are. They're massive, but just
yeah,
this island is dwarfing them like in this massive way. This island is huge. And yeah, I don't know. How do you hide all these islands? With dinosaurs on them from the world.
Henry
I don't
Wu
know.
also developed cloaking technology. Or
Yeah.
was that Charlotte
Well, maybe
Lockwood?
this is Manicore. Maybe this is all a fake
Yeah.
roof. Is this a dome? I don't know.
Wait, is this Manticore? Maybe it's Apex.
It could be. I love this shot is fantastic. Very Jurassic Park,
Mm,
obviously.
yeah,
Even like the skin texture, I feel like looks the same.
yeah.
That's cool. I love the birds landing on the back. That's awesome.
It's a cool touch, isn't it?
Let's see, a lot of similar stuff here. What else we got? What
It's
else can we
pretty much
talk about?
similar right through to the shots of Krebs, which we've spoken about.
Okay,
And
yeah,
then
this is all the Krebs stuff.
to be fair, what we did get in this trailer that we didn't get in the last one was the reveal of Dolores.
Yeah, yeah, which is right here. And Dolores is so
Absolutely
cute, dude.
adorable. Yeah.
Yeah, so cute. Love this thing. It's gonna be huge. I bet you it's gonna be really popular.
Yeah.
And anytime in this franchise, whether it's like Baby Blue or talking about the live tour, there's like a very cute,
Yeah.
several cute moments there. Um, Anytime we bring like a baby dinosaur in, it's gonna be awesome. And one that fits in a backpack, dude. Come on, it's so cute, and it's a
That's
warning
a
signal.
playset right there. Yeah.
It's the dinosaur's a warning signal. Does the dinosaur roar? Yeah, just very minimally.
Dude, that was
But
literally
she's
like spot on. Can you do that again?
yeah. There you
Somebody
go.
clip that.
Clip that. Dude, sound exactly like it. She's scared. As am I now. But dude, look
I
at this
love
shot,
this
man.
shot so
Can we
much
talk
with the
about this shot?
distorters in the smoke. Yeah.
Dude, it's so good. Like,
But also, okay, these coming moments, okay, so we get this shot, we then get Duncan with the flare again, but
well, that was
I
before, right?
this does pretty much, I think, confirm that Duncan actually, do you know what? Maybe not.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
not.
Duncan here.
Because if you then no, do you know what? I think this confirms that he dies. Because at 144, so it'll be about 147 for you, you can see the person with the there you go, in front of the Distortus illuminated, and they clearly have the same headgear as him on. And I don't see him being that close to the Distortus and surviving. Now, what he is in is water. So if I was willing to bet money on this, I reckon they're going to do a bait and switch with the Claire Therizinosaurus scene where he'll go under the water and think he's safe, and then it will snatch him out of it.
That would be cool. I don't know. There's so many different like
That is
ways to
one
get out of this.
ugly looking dinosaur, by
Dude,
the way.
it's
Look at
so
how
hideous, and
mangled that jaw is.
I love it, dude. Look at those like lip parts next to like the
Yeah.
side of the mouth that are just like vibrating. Oh, that's cool. Dude, that's so ugly. Does it look smaller here? Because I feel like it's smaller in comparison to how big it looked in that other shot.
I reckon there might just be a slight issue with scaling in some of the
Mhm.
scenes, which they could easily fix.
Yeah, I guess like this shot looks like if you think about how high up they are,
Yeah.
look, there's like a street light down there. He's up in the top of these trees, basically.
I mean, to be fair, we're assuming that's the Distortus, but it could be the Rex.
No, man, it's got to be Distortus. It's got to be like I think the
mean,
best joke is like,
yeah, no, you can
oh
see
my
the
god, a
arms just there.
T-Rex. Yeah, like a T-Rex,
Yeah.
and then when it turns around, it's absolutely not the T-Rex. I think that would be really cool. And you can see like a bulbous kind of head shadow up here
I
too.
don't know. I don't. I'm trying to piece together the arms.
I know, dude. They look big. They look
Because
big.
all I'm saying to you is the Jurassic World trilogy absolutely loved its big climactic showdowns. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh no, of course, of course.
So
Yeah,
Distortus one side, then Rex emerges from the smoke.
yeah.
And then a random
Look at
third
that fire
dinosaur
breather.
appears. I tell you what will happen. It will be Distortus there. It's just killed Duncan. Rex emerges from the smoke, gets his ass whooped. Then out of nowhere, the original Spinosaurus appears.
The original spot. Yeah, man. Let's go, dude. Let's do it. But yeah, you can see why they mentioned it was like a fire breathing Rex.
Yeah.
This is what it's ridiculous, but Um, yeah, we get some more
Film
tunnel
journalist, eh?
sequences. Yeah, we get the gas station sequence with actually it's not
Yes.
even gas, it's
Dude,
just
dude,
electric.
with that angle there, it makes me think of Rhino from Spider-Man,
Oh my
just like
god, dude,
a
please.
running brick.
Whatever. Dude, no,
Oh
please.
my god!
This is me looking at you, dude. Like, what?
Dude, just look, please go back to just before the wings uncurl. Look at that, that literally looks like a massive man just sprinting.
It does, yeah. It does.
Oh my god!
Because it was, there was that behind the scenes article or something that talked about the raptors with the white head, the people walking around with the white
Yeah.
head raptor things again. So I'm sure we'll see more of that. So it literally could have been just a person standing there. Yeah. But let's see. Is there a bike there? Is a little bicycle or something right over
Yeah.
there? Nice. Um,
So this is interesting because again, the interior of this structure looks, I would say, older. Like I posted a screenshot online of some of the shelves just here, and I feel like that looks like stuff from the 90s. I don't feel like it's early 2000s.
well, can we like look up that Science Planet?
I mean, so Sick
Is
Triceratops
that
replied to the tweet. Shout out to Sick Triceratops, by the way, and said that the Twix logo is the more modern version of the logo, but
is there
it's
a
clearly
Science
meant to
Planet
look distressed.
magazine?
There is, but it's really hard to find the history of it.
Yeah, I don't know. But
It's,
yeah, I can't even
I
find
mean,
anything
to
as
be
far
fair,
as like
it
quickly
it
googling it.
might. It's on a tropical island, so it could easily have been there since 2010. And if this is 2027, it's going to look quite dated anyway.
Also, got to shout out the fact that it says time travel right behind you.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
I said this the other day while recording. There's like the boat sequence that like references Indiana Jones. It's obviously referencing Jaws. We've got
Yeah.
Jurassic. I just needed Back to the Future kind of thrown into the mix, and yeah, and here we are. Don't get us copyright strikes. But here's the time
Because it
travel,
was
and
that tonally accurate.
yeah, dude, what's going on? Why are we referencing time travel? I don't know.
Now we just need a reference to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and we're sorted.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, what is that? What's that newspaper? The Globe something? I can't read what that says. Dude, the Mutadon looks so sick though. I really dig it.
I
think it's
think there
awesome
was a
design.
new Dr. Pepper behind the scenes video shared, and I'm
Yeah,
sure
there
that in
was.
that they were talking about how this was inspired by the gas station sequence in the Lost World novel, which is quite cool as well. Like, it's clear that Kep has really gone back to the drawing board with the Lost World novel and realized that they never used much of it.
hmm Yeah, and it's very just like Worker Village too, you know, with the raptor
Yeah.
attack and stuff like that. So
I love the lights, like really random detail, but I love the curved lights that are like along the
back
Staff
there,
Road.
yeah,
Yeah.
all very futuristic, very futuristic.
Why?
But it's also got a payphone, so like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I could get us another copyright strike if you want. I can hit some Maroon 5.
Why? Did
Have
I say
you
something?
not heard their song Payphone?
No, I have not, dude. I
Okay,
have
I'm not going to
absolutely have
start
not.
singing. I'm not putting our audience through that, but there's a song there.
No, please. And then we got the Mosasaurus sequence. Not a ton to talk about there. It does look very cool.
Although they hit, it looks like
looks.
they're hitting the rocks here, which is quite interesting. Again, with the whole, they seem to run aground, and it looks like it's the Mosasaur that pushes them to run aground, which is quite cool.
Oh yeah, this is the Indiana Jones moment I was talking about. It's straight out of like the Last Crusade movie. So yeah.
Oh yeah, with the tank.
Cool. With the tank, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. I love this eye shot here of the Mosasaurus under the water. It's super cool. Yeah. They are moving at like a good
just
clip
like,
here
dude,
too.
what up?
Yeah. But yeah, that's the trailer. I mean, I'm excited. I think it looks all really awesome, and
I hope everyone
Yeah.
enjoyed our 30-minute extended discussion about helicopters.
Yeah, I thought we would just do this for like 30 minutes in total, but apparently we've been going for over an hour. But yeah, so that's what you get here when you just talk about 2 minutes of a trailer or
Yep.
whatever. But there's a lot of good stuff in here, and I'm very excited. The final trailer that did enough for me. Yeah, it still
Yeah.
hasn't won over Aaron. Aaron is still not on board. I sent him a text, and I think he sent back some vomiting emojis. So
Oh my
there's
God.
that. But I don't know. Do you
Aaron,
think
come
it's
on, bro.
capturing?
Come on.
Do you think it's capturing the general audience at all? What do you think? Have you heard like anybody talking about it?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. So I think my gut feel is this is a film for the general audience more so than it is us as fans. So that's where I think it's going to be a bit loose with the lore and stuff. But I think if you're the general audience looking for a popcorn thriller, this is looking good.
yeah, you think it's gonna win this summer?
Yeah.
I feel like this has got to
Probably
be like
not,
our final
but I
check-in,
think
probably.
yeah. I mean, I don't think it will win the summer to be honest because there's so
Ooh.
much competition. But I think it will be close.
So what's gonna beat it?
I think Fantastic Four.
Okay, yeah. I think
Yeah.
it could. I absolutely think that could happen. I don't think Superman will beat it. But
I'm very curious to see what happens with Superman because it's either going to be a really good film or a very bad one.
I could see a future where like Lilo and Stitch beats it. You know, I could see that happening. No joke. I really do. I think it's going to be a pretty big movie, and it has more time to run than Jurassic World. So we'll see. But yeah, dude. Any other thoughts that you want to get off your chest here before we wrap up?
I'm at the point where I'm ready for this film now. I've seen enough. I don't want to see any more. I just want to get in the cinema, and it feels weird because at first it's been a slow burn, but now I look at it and I'm like, I can't believe it's still a month away.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna move fast, man. I can't wait. Hopefully, we get the chance to see it like maybe a little early. That would be nice if possible. Anywhere, so we can
Hint,
prep
hint,
some
nudge, nudge.
content. You know, hint. Yeah, everybody at Universal listening, because me and Tom, we're good at making content early. So we've done it before.
The people
for
at
DreamWorks.
Universal, they turned off when we got to the 13th minute of helicopter talk. They were like, "Yeah, no, this isn't the one."
Yeah, that's probably true. But what are you gonna do, man? I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the score. I'm excited for, everything. I think they've been doing some good marketing and stuff, like the behind the scenes and the Dr. Pepper thing and all the merchandise. There's stuff everywhere. They've really seemed to have flooded the market. As far as I can tell,
Yeah.
it looks like there's just going to be stuff everywhere, which is good. Really still interested to see like what's going on with video games and other things, other tie-in stuff. Like we still got a long ways to go with a lot of this, and I'm interested to find out how it all goes. So
It's
we
going to be an
are getting
interesting
close.
road.
We're getting close,
We
man.
are. We are.
All right. So
Some would say we are on the precipice.
Yep. That's a thing someone would say. Anything you want to mention here before we head out? Any
Yes,
promotions?
because I've just had a panic and pressed the go live button on it on my phone because I forgot it was going out on Twitter, on Instagram even. I don't know if it's playing up for other people, but when we're recording this, the 23rd of May, Twitter is just being really weird, which isn't surprising, really. Anyway,
you should probably get off. I think they
published...
just burned their headquarters down or something. So,
oh my god, what I've just published is a video that is reminding people that tonight on YouTube, the first episode of Tales from a Jurassic World Season 3 is going live. So it is titled "Welcome to Biosyn," and if I hit you with the description for a moment, the little tease to get you hooked and ready is Agent Ben Morrison is deployed on a dangerous operation with his partner, Agent Natalia Diaz, but all is not as it seems.
What's gonna happen this season? Tonight is not tonight. It's actually 3 days ago. But yeah, you can find it out there currently.
Yeah. So go and listen wherever you listen to Tales.
Yeah, go listen to Tales. Awesome work, and I'm excited to hear the season, man. It's gonna be fun. How many?
I'm excited
Just let
to
everybody
finish
know.
it.
How long? Yeah, how long you running? What? How many episodes? What are you doing?
So we have 6 episodes, so we run straight to the week before Rebirth releases. So that will then make the entire of Tales from a Jurassic World 18 episodes, and that is where it will finish.
Oh, sad music. Well, do I have like sad music? No, I don't. I think I only have like applause.
You can play
Yay,
a
good for you.
celebration one, yeah. Thank God it's over. I know.
Yeah. Where can everybody find you and all the other stuff?
You can find me at Tom_Jurassic on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Twitter. And you can also find me on Jurassic Collectibles. And all I'm going to say is Monday is the street date for Jurassic World Rebirth products here in the UK.
Ooh, you get it early, huh?
I am going to Smith's at 9 o'clock on Monday morning.
Well, so everybody listening to this is listening to this as you're doing that, so that's awesome.
Okay, so I might be in Smith's right now.
He's there
so
right now.
if you see me, say
somehow.
hi.